Hello everyone, welcome back to Reload Revelation, the show where we break down some gear, talk about the news, and overall, have a good time. I'm your host Ryan Souls, and thank you so much for joining me again. If you like this video, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, ring that bell for notifications, and let's take this journey on together. So for the first story I have for you today, it's kind of interesting. While our military is so worried about our greatest weapon, and that's diversity, the Chinese government decides to give kids P90s with a laser tag app on an iPhone to play laser tag with. Yeah, I know. It's crazy. Not to mention, just like a fun fact, if someone like me were to have that type of weapon, I would need a Form 1 tax form, pay $200 to the ATF. Of course, with these SPRs, P90s, it's not the greatest weapon in the world, in my humble opinion, but it certainly is cool. Looks different. And not to mention, they have EOTechs on them. Now, EOTech is one of the most sought after optics that you can buy on the civilian market because they are just, they're so nice. You know, everyone would recognize it, even if you like guns or not, because it's got that significant circle with the dot in the middle. Like, that's, everyone knows that sight from Call of Duty and other video games, as well as real life. Well, they're like $600 a pop, if not more. They're probably more now. It's wild to think that in our culture today, we are so afraid of using said guns that, oh, we don't want any part of these. We don't want our kids to know them. We don't want anyone to know about these things. But with proper safety, they can be less stigmatized for sure. Would I be comfortable? This is my humble opinion. Would I be comfortable with this type of app with real life? Yeah, I'd be comfortable. There's a lot of devices out there that would render a gun to blank fire. Of course, you got to be careful. And it looks like in this video that they were as careful as they can be for the Chinese. It's definitely ingraining in them to not be afraid of weapons. Giant communist superpower is okay with that. Why can't we be okay with at least teaching? But in my humble opinion, yeah, I think this would be fine. Honestly, I'm kind of jealous because I want to play this. So the second story is just breaking kind of today as we speak. Representative Jim Lucas was confronted by a bunch of high school students asking, why do you care so much about guns? And Lucas's response was, because I want to protect myself and my family. The students asked, well, are you carrying a gun right now? Thinking they would outsmart the guy. When Jim says, yeah.
So, do you mean by carrying a...
Yes, I'm carrying it right now.
Yeah, I'm carrying right now. So not to mention, this is just kind of dumb on the students' part. One, if their legal age of purchasing is still 18. Most of them were in high school. And when I was in high school, I was 17. I was kind of those weird kids. However, I wouldn't go up to a person and ask them if they're carrying. Because, like in this situation, he says yes, opens his jacket, which is kind of unorthodox. If I was in that situation, I would only say, yeah, I have one. But he showed it. It was holstered. It was on his side. Indiana lawmakers and their staff, due to the bill that they passed through their state Congress, you can carry lawfully in the state building along with their security staff. These people were claiming that they were afraid of this. How could they do this? This is inappropriate to say the least. Well, I mean, one, you asked. And two, hey, it's doing it legally. The thought of brandishing kind of popped up in my head. Would this be technically classified as brandishing? Now, granted, I'm not a lawyer, so like I said before, I would have just said, yeah, I'm carrying right now. And then that's it. They don't have to know what you're carrying. No one has the right to know. That's you. Not until you shouldn't be going for your weapon until it's the last possible opportunity to use that weapon. When you have your hand on your weapon ready to go, well, guess what? all other avenues have been tried and tested. It's go time. It's go time at that point. You've made your decisions. Now you got to do what you have to do to protect yourself or others. The high school students said that they were feeling scared and intimidated. The fact that someone had a gun that they were talking to. Why? I have no idea. I mean, if they didn't ask, they would have never known. Maybe don't ask your state, local elected officials if they're carrying, because they may surprise you. So with that being said, I got a fun one for you today. So what we have is a Rock River Arms. They have an L AR-15. It's a 17-inch barrel with a 12-inch handguard. It looks like M-LOK, however, looks like M-LOK on the sides, and actually a little bit of key mod on the bottom, which is kind of cool because you can retrofit your key mod accessories on there, and then of course Picatinny on top. Now here's the thing, as you kind of realize going through these videos, you know, well, what's M-LOK, what's Picatinny, what's now key mod? The certain type of styles that handguards go with, or pretty much anywhere, is the type of mounting system. So the Picatinny is this ladder type of mounting where you just either have screws that clamp down together to force a connection. So the M-LOK is the newest, and key mod is a little bit newer than the Picatinny. However, with key mod, there is that slot where you have to push in and then up, and that locks in place with your key mod. M-LOK takes little studs, and it uses torque pressure to twist inside the handguard, tighten it to itself, and that's what you usually see on modern AR-15s right now. But as we can see on the top of this, we have an A2 birdcage, and with a nice heavy barrel on there. This is really the bread and butter of why I have this in my hands. This is an aim point patrol rifle red dot, which, not gonna lie, I'm a little jealous of this. This is a very, very nice optic. The reason why I like this aim point is that it is tough. It is tested, tried and true. It's got a threaded insert for a kill flash, which it's a mesh that goes into the inside of the red dot, and it just, if glare hits it, it's not going to reflect back, causing a little bit tactical advantage if you're into that. However, there is no kill flash in there, but it is threaded, so if you want to put one in, you can do that. It's wonderful. It's got like up to 6 regular brightness settings, 1 extra bright, and then 4 for night vision capabilities. As far as the flip-up sights go, I like them. They are a little bit different. I like how they're a little bit chunkier. If you're going to have these flip-up sights, they take a little bit to depress and pop back up. Just a personal gripe, really. As far as turning on the aim point, I wish they had an actual tactile button, but they claim that the battery life lasts for about 3 years with a constant on, which is very nice. On the aim point, you just get a nice little dot. That's pretty much it. A UV shield, which is what's up top. You can either pop that off. The flip-up sights have an elevation switch. You can go from 200 all the way to 600, which just takes your back post and brings it up, pushes it down. Mounting this aim point, you just have a big knurling knob on the side, just clamps it down. As far as the magwell and the lower, it's mil-spec lower, got an A2 pistol grip, which of course you can see because of that notch. One-sided safety, 90 degrees, very, very standard. You can't really go wrong with it, honestly. As far as the charging handle though goes, it's charging handle with like an extra latch, which I have not seen one of these in a second. However, it's very easy to rip. I would personally like to have it on both sides, but of course with a big latch like this, having it on one side, giving you a little extra pull. The buttstock goes, it is just a regular buttstock. It's got 6 positions, mil-spec, fully adjustable. It's got locking. It's got a little bit of slop, but hey, I would have liked a little bit of padding on the back, or just switching out a buttstock in general. But if you're on a budget and this is what you can afford, then it works. Got points for a sling. It's got a dedicated sling point right there. Nothing on the handguard. No QD cups integrated into the handguard or anything like that, so you can't mount a sling as easily. I mean, obviously, you can have a single point if you want. There's no QD cup on the back of the buffer tube plate. As far as that goes, it is a very, very standard, budget-friendly, besides the optic. The optic is the most expensive part on this build. If you're used to shooting optics, I say go you. It's something to kind of get used to before you start customizing it altogether. So get used to something like this before you go out and purchase all the accessories to kind of make it. So that is the LAR-15, which is the Rock River Arms. That's what they classify this as. It's an AR-15 platform. It's just theirs that they sell. It's chambered in 223, 556. They sell a whole lot of stuff. 308, 6.8 Creedmoor. You name it, they got it chambered in an AR platform. So let's take this thing apart. So to take it apart, we're just going to hit that swivel pin. All right, so you're going to take that swivel pin out, swing it up, pull out your bolt carrier group, put that to the side, take out your charging handle, put that to the side, close that up. As we've seen in previous AR-15 videos, make sure that bolt's all good, locked up. Take that cotter pin out. That'll release the firing pin. This one's definitely going to need a little bit of rub-a-dub-dub. But some people can be a little OCD, and that's me. So, take out the cam pin. After you rotated it, pops out like so. Pull out your bolt, and then put it all back together. Just reverse the process. I've always struggled getting the cam pin back into the bolt, and if that's the case, rotate your bolt because there are 2 holes on each side. So if it doesn't fit in the first one, just spin the bolt until you see that second hole, and then it'll fit. Looks like that we got our bolt back in. A couple press checks, make sure it works. Take our firing pin, slide it back in, thread it like so. Take our cotter pin, pin that firing pin back up to where it was. Make sure it's not going to go out. Our rifle, break it back open. Charging handle back in first, making sure we get that little tooth mark into the slot. Slide our bolt carrier group back in with the handle. Fold it back up and push that pin all the way through. Now, noticing on this, it's got a very, very tight tolerance when taking it apart, putting it back together. It's not a bad thing. It's just an observation. When it comes to field stripping it, everything else, very nice. So that is our LAR-15 from Rock River Arms. It is a very budget-friendly, easy to take apart mostly. You know, first getting that pin out, but again, that's just wear and tear. Popping it out, it shouldn't pop out by itself, but a little less tolerance, I'd be okay with. So when it comes to having a sharp blade, it's just as important, if not more important, than having a firearm that is reliable to you. And that's kind of what I have for you today. It is a Gerber warrant knife. It's, I bought this secondhand. It came with an original scabbard or holster. I've heard them both. But I went and picked up a Kydex one because I like how it just snaps right in. It's not going to fall out, nothing like that. Blade sharpness, it's got a Tanto style blade, which means it kind of looks like a little sword. Very nice. It's got a serrated edge at the bottom and another type of serration for like thread cutting at the back end. It's a full tang, which means that the blade goes all the way through and it's just pinned together with some grips on the side. I mean, you could paracord grip this thing, which I might be doing relatively soon, as soon as I get some good cord. But I've had this on my range belt, I've had it on my carrier, and it's just overall a very nice combo. It is on the pricier side when it comes to Kydex. I mean, that's pretty much the big question is, do you go Kydex or do you go leather or something in the middle? As far as budget options, obviously leather, a lot less expensive than some Kydex. But with Kydex, you get a nice snug fit. It's not going to fall out, even if you got to like really flip it out. On the back, that's how I was putting it on my belt and carrying that. It's got a tech lock. For people that don't know, a tech lock is just a fancy way putting something through a molly webbing. At least that's what I've been using it for. But it just opens up like so. You place it around whatever you're placing it. It comes with little spacers. You click it into place, lock it in, and now it's not going to go anywhere. As far as a knife goes, it's a relatively good knife. Gerber, it's good quality. It's not my everyday carry knife. However, when I have it, I'm really glad that I do have it. I just like, just that nice, satisfying click. You feel powerful with it. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Reload Revelation. I appreciate you sticking around. If you like this content, do me a favor. Hit that subscribe button, ring that bell for notifications. And as always, remember these 5 rules.
Never point your firearm at anything you don't intend on shooting. Know what is behind your target at all times. Be aware of your surroundings. Keep your finger off the trigger until you're ready to shoot.
And of course, have fun. I'm Ryan Souls for Reload Revelation. Now do me a favor. Go catch some R&R.